The Fly Fifer Podcast. Let's talk. Your chat, your way. This episode is sponsored by J. Couriers. The people who care for your delivery.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening and good night whenever you're listening. So today's podcast is with none other than Miss Karen Dunbar, BAFTA award winning, who is one of Scotland's finest, one of Scotland's most, how can I put it, one of Scotland's best comedians, one of the best to come out of Scotland. Now, I'm talking to Karen on Zoom today, due to various different things. Distance, I'm in the middle of nowhere. Karen's wherever she is, and she's no wheel, as she would say. We would say up here, not very well. As Karen is from Ayrshire, she's no wheel, which is brilliant. So, I'm going to just ask you one more thing before we carry on. Can you please by clicking on the wee bell, wherever it is on the YouTubes, just hit the wee bell, hit the wee subscribe button, and hopefully we can get the percentages down, because we're running at about what is it? It's about 90% of viewers are not subscribed to the channel. So if you don't mind, please just subscribe, just give it a wee share if you must, but most of all, enjoy. And right, enough of me. We'll get into it. It is a Zoom thing, and those of you that know me know that I cannot stand internet communication, as in talking to somebody over the internet or on Zoom calls and stuff like that. I just didn't feel it's the way to communicate. I just think once we're in this room and we're sat down and we're comfy, I've had a cup of tea and a wee glass of water and just kick back and relax, and you get the body language and stuff like that. I just feel that that's a better way to go. However, needs must. And as my wee mother would say to me, just you bloody, if it's got to be on that bloom, just you get on that bloom and bloom. Yes, Zoom, mother. But anyway, over to the conversation that we had. We recorded that, and it's next. Thanks for watching, and as ever, please like, share and subscribe. Adios. Oh, very swish. Recording is now in progress. Welcome to the Fly Fifer Podcast. Is it Miss or Mrs. Karen Dunbar?
Miss the day.
Miss.
Jamie. Aye.
Miss the
the
day.
day's young. Who knows what will happen by the end of it, but the new it's Miss.
It's Miss. I've just become an official Mister.
Oh, congratulations.
Aye, Wednesday there, I might have got married. So, Karen, this came about through me doing roller discos, and I went to a specific place, the Nevis Centre, and walk through the door, massive sign of your mug right there. I was like, aye. And then I'm talking to the lassies there and everything like that. They're like, aye, she's doing a gig here. And then ever since then, all I ever see is Karen Dunbar. Karen Dunbar. It's Strathpeffer. So if Strathpeffer doesn't sell out, there's a problem, because that's the only one I ever see advertised. Up this neck of the woods, that is.
Right. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful.
Now, listen, I've got to be... I'm the only Fifer in my family that's all Glaswegian, right? Now, I know you're for Ayr, right? But you've got the West Coast twang about you and everything like that, right? You've got the Ouija twang, as we would say in Fife, right? So, my mother is an 82-year-old woman for Clydebank, who I says to her, listen, I've tried to speak to that woman you like for the telly, Karen Dunbar. And she's like, what? Who? And I was like, aye, Karen Dunbar. But she's wanted to date by Zoom, Mum. She's not going to come to the studio. Well, if she wants to date by Bloom, you date by bloody Bloom. She's a big
What's
fan.
her name?
Jean Hunter.
Tell her, hi, Jean.
Aye.
How are you, Jean?
Aye. Hey, at 82, we'll need to be talking about her hygiene. Well, I'll tell you one thing, at that age, they get away with it. There's a lack of filter in that woman. I'm sure she would give you a wee gag or two if you met her. But anyway.
I bet you.
So, Karen, just getting into you and who you are and what you're all about, right? Comedy. You were born April 1st. At what time?
7:14 a.m.
So you were destined to always be a fucking comedian. And sorry, I do apologise for swearing. He says, I'm used to being in my studio where you can swear
You
in
do
here.
what you're
It's no
doing,
problem.
Jamesy.
Aye.
See, at the moment, I'm mainly just listening to you. So carry on.
Oh, sorry. It's
Oh,
all
you're all
about you,
right.
right enough. Anyway, so you were always destined to be a comedian. Clearly.
Aye. Well, I'm not sure if it's the chicken and egg. So I'm not sure what came first.
Aye.
Whether well, obviously it was being born on April Fool's Day came first, but people saying, "Ha ha, you're a fool" and all that kind of stuff, and maybe I was just acting it then
Right.
because I was born then. But I always had a buzz about making people laugh, so
Right.
that was really addictive.
Aye, definitely is. And do you think it come for that, for the years of growing up as a way and everybody kind of a laugh at your expense with the April Fool thing?
I wouldn't say they were laughing at my expense necessarily.
Aye.
I don't think it was all that. Big influences in my life at that time were like with the Billy Connolly album in the house, and so that being played and everybody laughing at that. Can you imagine sitting in the house listening to a record? I suppose
Aye.
we do, but listen to podcasts now, and it's kind of the same thing. But just think about that as I was sitting there putting that record on and
Uh-huh.
like, come on, we'll put that record on, and we were all
Right.
sitting listening to it.
Aye. So what was the process then into comedy? What was the process into that in your life? Obviously, primary school, high school, all of that jazz.
Mm.
What was your first taste of comedy?
Um, I don't know what it would have been professionally. Personally, it would have been making people laugh.
Aye.
And the
Aye.
buzz that I got, the feeling that I got. But I had a real drive to be famous. I mean, I know people say that I didn't want to be famous. I did.
Right.
Being famous was the thing that was going to fix it all, if you
Right.
like.
Aye.
And what was fixing it all was coming from a very poor background,
Uh-huh.
and no having any way. How am I going to make money? Do you know? I've no
Right.
education. I've no sort of standard, no nepotism going on at that time for me. You know, my
Right.
father was retired, my mother was a cleaner.
Right.
Um,
And
so,
everybody wants to get out the scheme.
well, that's it.
Aye.
That is the truth of it. So
Yeah.
that was the thing. But, I was told I was a good singer. I was a chanter when I was young, so I thought it would maybe be through that,
Aye. And
and
that,
not necessarily comedy.
right. And you are a good singer.
Well, I
Definitely.
continue
I mean,
to.
you can hold your own. That's for sure. Which one of your gigs that you did always reminded me visiting family in Glasgow, and that was it the wedding singer? Or, when you're with the boy with it, I did research that earlier, but I've no got it. I left it down in the house, and I'm up in the studio. The guy that's playing the keyboard and you singing, the whole Sherry Blue type.
Aye, aye, aye.
That just reminded me, God, to aunties and uncles in Glasgow for years and years and years. It's exactly all you got, wasn't it?
Mm, aye. These singers were based more on cabaret stuff, but the singing
Cabaret.
in the hook, Hug Money and stuff like that
Aye,
was a massive, massive like influence and fascination for me.
aye,
The attention that they held. There's a saying, I mean, I heard it ages ago, but it's kind of come back to me recently. It's like to be loved is to be seen. I think that's really interesting.
aye,
To be loved is to be seen. So I wanted to be seen to feel that love.
uh-huh. So singing,
Feeling comfortable now.
so
Lying in my couch, drinking water.
singing then. So did you do singing first, or did the singing take you into comedy then?
Oh, singing first. I
Singing
was
first, right,
4 year old and my father would take me around the corner to the Labour Club
right.
and they
Aye,
would take singers and I'd be up on the stage singing Que Sera Sera and
aye.
Dancing Queen, 4 year old, 5 year old.
Wow, wow. So for singing then, how did you bridge that for singing into comedy?
Um,
What was your first gig? Let's say before the glam, the
well,
guts, and the telly and all of that.
so karaoke, so I was a karaoke host.
Right.
So that's how it all started off.
Just
So, and the reason I was hosting karaoke is because I worked in the bar and
aye.
the karaoke had just started. It was only 1990.
Right.
And my boss had says to me, Karen, you can sing a bit. There's a thing coming out called karaoke. I want you to host it. I
Aye.
mean, I was a absolutely rotten host. I was only putting songs on, singing the songs, and then shouting the person up to sing.
Right.
I'd
Aye.
no part at all.
Uh-huh.
But you do it often enough, and you get the pattern.
The patter comes with it. Aye. Exactly.
Aye.
And you and I are of a similar age, so we've probably went through
Right, what age are
similar
you?
thing. I'm 52.
Mm. Like a bit older than you, Jamesy.
Ah, you're only a year
54, he
older
would have
than
been
me.
2 years below me at the school.
See, I'm
Yeah.
24th of April, you're April 1st, and it was
Mm.
71, I'm 72. So,
All right.
aye, so there's a very similar age.
Right.
You'll have went through the same as me, like the end of the punk scene, the beginning of this, or the ska scene and everything like that in the
I
80s.
was a goth.
You were a goth, right?
Mm.
Tell me more. And look at you now, you're anything but a goth woman.
So who was into the Cure, the Cult, Susie and the
Ah,
Banshees?
right. Big
Uh,
fan of the cult myself, aye.
it was uh, pop goth that I was into.
Right.
But there used to be a club down in here called well, it's the Pavilion.
Uh-huh.
Hangar 13 was, but before it was Hangar 13, there used to be on a Saturday night, Friday night, Saturday night, like rockers, punks, goths night, and
Aye.
I went religiously to that, even though I was 14 at the time. I shouldn't
As
have
you
been in
do.
there, but
Good high
aye.
heels.
Right.
Aye. So, being a goth, then, would you have got into moving through the music, like into the old rave scene? You remember all that? Because there was Air Ice Rink and everything like that in the late 80s, early 90s.
No, no,
Yeah.
really. I mean, I missed that because I didn't take drugs, and
Aye.
I would tell you I did. So
Aye,
I was
aye,
never
aye.
a drug. I was never I never took drugs. I was always a drinker.
Right. Right.
And that felt more like the dance scene at that time to me. I was more working in pubs and things like that.
Right.
So it wasn't until I moved up to Glasgow that I
Uh-huh.
started getting more into dance music because I'm a DJ as well. I don't know if you
Yeah.
know that.
No, no, and I missed that one. Aye.
Right. So I DJ'd for 7 years.
Right.
So I was not just like I was dabbling in it. I was 3 nights a week DJing, like
Uh-huh.
on deck mixing,
Right.
which I'm going back into now.
Ah, I see
Uh,
that. Is Berlinkies?
I've got a
Is
few
it?
on at Transmit this year and
Right.
at the Ewan McVicker's one down in here.
Right. Okay.
Street Rave, one with
Sheet
Street
rave.
Rave on
Yeah, yeah.
Sunday the 4th of May, so that's in a couple of weeks' time.
All right. Aye.
And that was during the lockdown. I started moving into sort of digital stuff, like just faffing about, like trying to keep myself sane.
Aye.
And got a program, a DJ program, and I was like, "Ugh, I don't know if this will be any use. I'll tell you, I disappeared down the hallway. And I thought, if I ever open up again, I want to go back to DJing.
You
So
want
I'm actively pursuing that.
aye.
Actively pursuing.
Actively pursuing it. So, can I,
Aye.
before we get back to the music and before we get back to what you're up to the now, can I sort of dive into like the Chewin the Fat era? Because
Mm.
that for me is when we all seen you, or most of the folk watching us all have seen you through Chewin the Fat and stuff like that. Was there anything else before that though? I mean, I can't imagine. Did they just put, oh, there that lassie that does the karaoke? She's quite good. Bit of chat, bang her on the
Mm.
telly. No, there must have been a transition.
Well, eh, there was no telly as such apart from I did a tiny wee bit in Ramsey Nesbitt, but that was to
Right,
test me out for Chewing the Fat. That's
got you.
why the people. So, but I had been hosting karaoke for 7 years.
Right,
So I was out every night. Well, no, every night. I was out 5 nights a week,
aye,
DJing, karaoke, pub quizzes.
aye,
So 5 nights a week for 7 years is a lot of like 3, 4 hours a time. That's a lot of hours.
aye,
So I went for this 19-year-old that was like going, and the next singer is to having loads of like ways to work with an audience, stories kind of worked up. I didn't do stand up necessarily, but I tell stories. I mean, it's kind of the same thing, but I wasn't a stand up. I didn't go and do stand up shows. I did the Edinburgh Festival twice, but it was mere. It was weird. I mean, the reason I did it was one of my pals says because I worked in a bar called CC Blooms.
yeah,
So that's in Edinburgh. CC's the big gay pub in
yeah,
Edinburgh.
yeah,
I was the first person working in there. Well, I did their main nights, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
yeah,
And the nightclub was down the stairs. So I would DJ in the nightclub Friday, Saturday, I would do the karaoke up the stairs on Sunday. My pal says to me, why don't you do the festival? And I says, what would I do? It's the same things you do at the karaoke. Sing songs, tell stories, and so I did the festival downstairs in CC Blooms. My boss gave me it for nothing because she would get the bar take.
Aye,
So it's like it was on at 6 o'clock or something. They didn't open the club to like 11 o'clock at night.
aye.
So she's like, aye, you can do it. I'd hardly empty in. I did the whole month. I'd hardly empty in. And see the last week, I kid you not, I got a 5-star review in the Scotsman. Fucking last 5-star review I've ever got in the Scotsman. Total unknown. And
Uh-huh.
I played, yeah. I remember going to do the Edinburgh Festival show after that review, and my boss met me at my boss got me at the door and she went, Cam, we can't, there was a queue in the block because
Oh,
that review. She went, we can't get any people in, we're having to give people their money back to see her face.
aye,
Because like hundreds of folk turned up and it sat like 60 folk. The
aye.
place was jammed because of that review. And there had been doing 3 weeks to nobody.
The
Three
name
blind men
there.
had done. Anyway, so I had did that twice. I did the Edinburgh Festival twice and I got another 5-star review for the Scotsman then. It's funny. Then once I get known and was doing shows,
Aye,
doesn't matter. But so I got an audition with the comedy unit.
aye.
And they're the people that made Rabsy Nesbitt at the time, and they were making Chewin the Fat.
Right.
And through that audition,
Uh-huh.
they brought me in and put me on to Chewin the Fat on the radio.
Wow.
I started
And
off on the radio.
started off, Chewin the Fat started on the radio. Aye,
Aye, Radio
aye, aye.
Scotland sketch show. Aye.
Brilliant. So that secretly that moment of, oh yeah, dancer.
Aye, but it was completely delusional because I
Right.
thought once that went on TV, once Chewin the Fat went in the telly, that I would just be fucking skyrocketed
Yes.
to fame and fortune. And see when we'd finished, and I packed in all my work. So I
Aye.
ran my own business. I was 27,
Right.
26 when I went for the audition. I ran my own business. I've been doing it for 6 years, 7 years. Can't count for 19 to 26 years. So I'd been working for 7 years, running my own business, out 5 nights a week. At that point, I'm not kidding you, it was like making money hand over fist. The places were packed.
Yeah.
Jacked it all in, went and filmed Chewin the Fat. Very little money at that time, and I'm not complaining. It went up later, but very, very little money at that time. So much less than I was earning myself.
Yeah.
And when it finished filming, I was sitting in the house. I mean, it finished filming in the November, and I was like, I have no work. I don't have any work. I mean, I hadn't thought it through. I've no money. I've no money. I don't know what I thought was going to happen.
Uh-huh.
And we'd finished filming just at the end of October, and Chewin the Fat didn't come out to the January. So I didn't start to get any other stuff to them. But I wasn't even getting recognised. The first series didn't really make much of a mark, Jamesy. It was the
Aye.
second series that really took off.
Aye. So see
So I
that
went back. I had to go back and ask my boss for my nights back in the pubs and clubs.
I was going to say that. So did you revert
Aye, aye.
back to what you were doing? And
Totally back, face all humble, chap to door. I'm like, can I get my boss in Glasgow? Because I was in Glasgow and Edinburgh, and he's like, Cam, give your nights away. We can give you the wee club up the stair. And I was like, just give me it. But my boss that was in Glasgow, but my boss in Edinburgh says to her, don't suppose I can get my nights back. She went, yes, you can start next week. So I was right back in. I did an odd year.
aye,
I was still, when we did the second series of Chewin the Fat, I was still DJing. And so I would DJ at 3 o'clock in the morning and sometimes get picked up at 7 in the morning to go and film.
to go and film, right?
Aye.
Wow. And still never got into drugs.
No, never my thing.
Good. And see, when you're talking about it there, you'll be able to, when you watch this back, you'll be able to see it makes you happy. Because it was bringing wee smiles when you were going back through it. The brows were calming and you were talking about it and there was wee cheeks were going up. So it's
aye.
really fond memories for you then.
Aye.
Right. So we're going to turn it dark then. The lights go off, the cameras go off. It's just Karen on her own. Where does that take you when you're at that high and then you go home and you shut the doors and everything like that? It's just you say, where do you go? Where does the mind go at that point? How do you relax? How do you turn off the noise? All that sort of stuff.
Well, I mean, it's been different things at different times, I suppose, but if it's new, it depends. I mean, as you know, I've got the tour coming up, so that'll start in a couple of weeks' time and I'll be all over the place. I mean, the first week I've got, like, it's 5 shows, 1 show on a Thursday, 2 on a Friday, 2 on a Saturday. So
Yeah.
that's a lot of energy and it's a lot of, like, stimulation different crowds likes. It might be the same stories, but they'll change in bits, all depending what's happening in the room. I do a meet and greet as well in the middle, so there's no break in the middle. I'm meeting loads of people, then I'm driving to the next place. So part of the come down is the drive.
Right.
I mean, if I'm close to home, then it's not much of a drive. But I think the first weekend, I'm in, like my last show's in Montrose, so that's a 2 hour drive back down the road. So I'll start to kind of decompress.
That'll
If
bring
like,
you down a wee
but
bit.
I'll probably come in. I mean, I'm lying on the couch now because I'm not very well. So just in case Em's like that. She's not even made an effort. I'm like recovering,
Yeah.
got some lurgy. And I've got 3 Zooms back to back today, and I'm like, I'm lying on the couch, and they'll just have to take it.
Take it.
Anyway, so I'll come in and I'll lie on this couch, and there's the telly I'm nodding out at, or more likely like this, scrolling,
Aye,
and I'll
that's per
scroll
half the
myself.
nation. Aye,
I'll dopamine myself out my nut,
aye.
high line supply.
Seeing as you brought it up, the dopamine that we're all addicted to now, our phones. TikTok, how are you finding that?
Aye. That's the surprise of my life, TikTok, because
Aye,
it's really tough for me.
aye.
I never did it. I
There's
watched
no
it.
way it will not take half, Karen. You're a household name.
Well, it's 27 years since the show was out.
Aye,
So in some ways aye, and in some ways no.
right.
And so I know I've still got a level of a draw because I'm doing this tour. I've got 80,
Yep.
80 shows today, and I'm doing the Edinburgh Festival as well. That's just to try out some new stuff. It's just in a wee room, and I don't want any pressure, so I'm like that. Just do a wee haul. Anyway, so that's about 90 gigs. So I wouldn't be doing that kind of stuff if I didn't think folk would come and see me.
Aye,
With TikTok, I don't know, I just didn't know what I was doing with it, and folk would say you need to go on it, and I thought I don't want to do it if I don't. I mean, I'm on Twitter, and I had to stop looking at stuff, and it's just overwhelming. So the short version is somebody introduced me to a wee guy that manages folks' TikToks, and I says to him, right, let's give it a go. We started in November, and he's just brilliant. He's
right.
really, really good at how he sees things and what how he knows what to do and how to present it. So excuse me, that's took off for me,
Aye,
and I'm loving it. Like, I'm loving just making the stuff, meeting with him. He cuts it all, edits it all, puts all the stuff up, and manages it all, and reads stuff, and lets me see only the good stuff, because I don't want to see the criticism.
no.
And it's not about not being able to take criticism. I just don't want to take criticism for folk that I don't know, that I
Aye,
might have other agendas. See if one of my pals is like, that's not really working out, or somebody that I work with is like, I would leave that joke, or that's not really, I'll listen to that very happily. But just the
aye.
pilots, I'm no interested in that, so I
I, th-
don't read the comments.
I think that's quite an important message for everybody and anybody that uses social media. Unless you have them that thrive on the likes and the comments and all of that. But I think not to read the comments is a good, especially for somebody like yourself that's of, you know, what do I want to say, a level of fame or whatever. Definitely forgetting the comments, no reading them, because like you say, there'll be half the population love you, half the population can't stand you, and it's them that have got nothing better to do, keyboard warriors. And why? It's
Well, I mean, it's a good question. I don't think
aye,
anything's changed. Like, I think that's a fundamental part of being a human,
yes,
is like, you've got likes and dislikes, and you'll talk about it. Now, whether
mhm,
you talk about it to your pal, I'll sit with my pal and go, can he stick that, blah, 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 whatever it
aye,
is on the telly, or that. Or, oh, I saw this thing and I loved it. Now, why would, that's just taste. Everybody's got
yeah,
their opinions like that. But the difference between, no, it's just global, and it's in you, like, you're seeing it immediately. And when you says there like that dopamine, and there'll be folk that will be drawn to I don't know, this is totally inaccurate, but
uh-huh,
like the adrenaline or the cortisol that they'll get for getting like slagged at. You know how some folk will
yeah,
thrive on that?
yeah,
That's not me. If somebody says in a comment, I don't think she's very funny. I'm lying back on this couch for a day and a half like that. I wonder if I should try. Honestly. So I'm
aye,
like, and I've tried. It's the same way reviews. I don't read them. I don't
no,
read any reviews if they're my 5-star ones. Because I got to a point when we were doing Chewin the Fat, I was reading all this stuff,
Yeah.
and some of the slagging in the papers was just like, I can't cope with this. And
Aye.
I tried to make myself cope with it, and I couldn't. So now I'm better saying, I can't cope with that. I'm no
Aye.
doing it. Like a peanut allergy. Stop fucking eating them.
Yes.
We're trying to make yourself all right with them. Don't eat them.
Don't like me, don't fucking watch. Yes, I get it. So, I'd thought of something on what you said there, but it's totally went out my head. For me, the one in Chewin the Fat, the singing that you did, yes, that's a big memory for my childhood. That watching aunties and uncles, we spoke about that. The Chewin the Fat one, I'm sure it's Chewin the Fat, you can correct me if I'm wrong, is probably that most famous one when you're in the ice cream van. This is the one memory I have of you, where the wee boy, where he's wanting to swatch at your Shireen Nanjani, if you want to call it that, and he's left standing there with the lolly and he's there and it flicks to night time and the lolly's on. That's my biggest memory for Chewin the Fat, where I remember
Aye.
you as a
Aye,
character
it was a
in
popular
that.
sketch.
That was certainly fantastic. That one, like, so what are you doing? What's the BAFTA all about? What's that all about? Come on, let's talk about that. Now, I know you did the voice, Finlay. Is
Aye,
that
that's right.
Finlay, right? And right, you talk about that rather than me slaver over it.
Aye. So that was just Tuesday there. So that was, well, what is this? This is Tuesday. So
Aye,
that was a week ago. So I don't know. It's about 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. I got a job through my agent. I've got a London agent.
yes.
And she says, do you fancy auditioning? It was auditioning for it. They're interested in you. Will you do a couple of... And I just recorded it on voice notes. They gave me stuff to read through.
Mhm.
No, modern technology, just to text it, WhatsApp it to them.
Aye,
And they go back and says, I would really like you, will you do this? So it was in I'd record it in a booth. I'm saying a couple of years ago, but they kept saying it was during the lockdown. Anyway, whatever it
yeah,
was, there was no point in me going. I didn't need to go to London to do it because you could I just went into town in
aye,
Glasgow, and recorded it. And there was another actor that I was in it with, and they were doing in London. So we were like could see each other on screen. How you doing, Alec Newman? How you doing, Alec? And he was like, oh, it was lovely because he was like, I'm a big fan. Like I know his work, but I didn't know him. But he watched Chewin the Fat and everything. Anyway, so we did, it was like doing a radio play, except of course you can see the kind of stuff in front of you, the animation for the game. So that's it. So I goes away up the road and gets paid and goes away up the road and that's it. And I was a bit kind of saying to a couple of folk, I just did a voiceover for a game, a video game. I've not got, like,
aye,
Sonic the Hedgehog's the last thing I played. Anyway, cut to, yeah, I can do an air wee bit, that's it. Cut to my agent email me last month saying, good news, you've been nominated for a Games BAFTA. And I was like, oh my God. And she says they've invited you, like the folk that made it have invited you down, but I don't know if they realise, like invited you to go, but I don't know if they realise that you're based in Glasgow. So I says, I still want to go. Because I mean, it was last week there, so I'm kind of off the new. I've got wee bits and pieces, and then
aye,
see once the tour starts, I'll not be doing anything. That'll be me to November,
yeah,
just about to November, May to November. And I was like, I'm going to London. I've got my pal down there, like from some pals. I was like, I'm going to ask Stuart, my pal, if he wants to come with me. Let's do it. So went down on the Monday, and I've been nominated. I was trying to count it up, been nominated, I think, for six Scottish BAFTAs. All the Karen Dunbar show's been nominated. And other shows that I've been in has been nominated. No Chewin the Fat, like documentaries, stuff like that. Anyway, I've never won one. I've been nominated twice. In fact, 4 times for the Golden Rose. The Karen Dunbar show's been nominated for that. That's the European Television Awards. Away out of Switzerland, sitting in the audience. So I've been nominated for Best Comedy Actor in that tea. We're in
right.
Switzerland. My good clay zone. And then I was like that. And the nominees are, and they'll read the book, blah, 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 Karen Dunbar, blah, blah. And the winner is, and whoever it is, here is, not Karen Dunbar. She's no won it. That's all I'm hearing.
And then
So,
you've to
I
sit
had my
there and
face
clap.
on. Right. I've just wrote a bit of stand-up about it, actually.
Have you?
So my face all ready for that on Tuesday when the nominees are. And Stuart, my pal, was sitting behind me. And Matt Berry, I don't know if you know the actor Matt Berry, who's a brilliant comedy actor. And he was nominated in the same category as me, so best supporting actor. And I thought he will get that hands down. And so when they said the winner is Karen Dunbar, there was a moment that I was clapping, looking round to see to see where Matt Berry was.
Right.
And I saw Stuart, he was shaking me like that, going, yes! Yes! And then I don't know if you saw the video, Amy. Like, I stood on my head like that because I just couldn't believe it. And
Right.
even the first 30 seconds when I went down and go at it, all I'm doing is laughing. And I'm not being dismissive. I'm just like that. I fucking can't believe this. It was a pure incredulity. That's
Right.
what I was laughing at. And then I got right into it. I was like, I fucking won.
Yeah.
I mean, I was good in it. Then I don't know. I
Aye.
made a wee video the other night just to say thanks to folk because I'm hearing all the comments from my social media guy. Lovely stuff I'm getting. And folk are texting me and emailing me and
Yeah.
things. So I wanted to say thanks. But I was like, right, I've won a bit and it's the big BAFTA, right? Fucking, it's the full thing.
Aye.
And I thought, that's mental. I've won that BAFTA for that. For all this stuff that I've done. This is what I've won it for. But then I thought, do you know what? I'll just take it. I'll take it for everything. I'll take because I'm not saying I wasn't good in it. I was good in the game, but
Aye.
and I've no reference. It's not as if I've heard all the games and everybody that's played them and thought, oh, I was better or worse or anything like that. But anyway, so
Yeah.
I'm over the moon. It's up. I've called her Roberta.
Roberta.
Roberta the BAFTA after
Roberta
Roberta
BAFTA.
Flack. And any time I see her, I'm like that. The first time ever I saw you, and then I get halfway it. That's what I'm doing on a daily basis.
And have you sat it in front of your face in the mirror and all that and winked through the eyes, or is it that big?
No, but
Is it not
no, not yet. No, but the day's young.
that big? You're going to be dancing with that unit loudly. So, right, we're obviously short in time with this bloody Zoom stuff. Theatre was a big thing. You've done a fair bit of theatre, panto and what have you. The Widow Twankey to be one of them. What was
That's
your
right.
what would you say, TV or theatre? What's your favourite there? Or is that of a par? There's no
Yeah, it's
comparison.
two different things.
Aye, no comparison.
Because no, and doing stuff on stage is like instant,
Yeah.
especially with comedy.
Uh-huh.
And whereas with the telly, it's yeah, unless you're looking at social media or stuff like that, then you're depending to bump into folk. And I would much prefer that. Like I would
Right.
much prefer like be meeting folk in the street
Aye.
and them going, "Oh, I enjoyed this," and blah blah blah.
Right.
So aye, both get they both get pros and cons to them.
So the theatre then, does that let you be more yourself, more that comic, the comic, or is that just as scripted? Do you have to, or is it you pull back, or what do you think?
Again, it depends what it is. So, where I done a few years ago, I did The Importance of Being Earnest, Oscar Wilde. It's just taking in, adding into the script and that, did Shakespeare as well. So that's as it is. Whereas with the panto, you can just play about with it and everything.
Right.
So I,
So panto, definitely a
aye,
favourite then. Aye.
aye.
So listen, is there anything? I think I think there's 7 minutes, so you better start plugging what you're up to and what you want people to go to, and we can share this around the. So,
Great.
what's the next
Well,
thing?
the tour's on. The tour's on. I don't know if you've got a link for the tour that you can
I'll put a link
see
into the. Yeah.
I'm really interested in how the DJing's going. I'm going to say how the DJing's going is the reason that I wanted to do it was because I want to make an event that I want to go to,
Right.
right? So in Berlinkies, so I do Berlinkies once a month, and that's in Sucky Hall Street. So that's on a Sunday from 3 to 8. And the next one's the 4th of May. So it'd be great to come to that. Come to that. You'll need to get tickets online for that. But because I want feedback for it, I want to see what folk are wanting. I try to do it as a kind of request or requests. That doesn't work because somebody's wanting AC/DC and then the next, and do you know what I mean? And it just, I need to trust my own judgment with music. I DJ'd for years. I'll take some requests and that, but I can't play all the. I mean, I love AC/DC, but anyway. So what's my point in that is I need to trust my own sort of judgment in that.
Yeah.
So the DJ's up and coming. But anyway, folk will come to what they're coming to. I'd love you to come to Ain or tune in to Ain.
Right.
But the tour's on tomorrow, Scotland, for May to November.
May
And by the way,
November,
I'm on in Ibiza. I'm DJing in Ibiza on the 8th of June. So see if MD is in Ibiza on the 8th of June. I'll be on in the Rio Cafe in San Antonio. So
Right.
come and see me there. That'd be free to get in. It's just to see me. Just to like be in there with me. I would love that.
Aye, that's good. So, listen, I'm going to stop us there so we can get a quick player at the end of this. But
Right.
thank you very much.
Hello, everybody.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody. I'm no wheel.
Karen Dunbar, thank you very much for coming on the Fly Fifer podcast. And as brief as it's been, maybe one day I'll get you in the studio. You never know. You never know.
I think Karen carried me through that because I was a wee bit starstruck, a wee bit nervous. I've not spoken to anyone of that standing, if you like, or somebody that's on the telly, somebody that's been interviewed a million times. I've not spoken to anybody like that yet. So that was quite good. And thanks to you, Karen, for coming on the Fly Fifer podcast. And thank you very much for carrying me through that interview. Well, it wasn't an interview, it was more of a chat. I would rather get you around and sit down and we could have a proper chat. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you up on that offer and I'm going to get my wee mum, I'm going to book her in and we're going to come and see you and see what's going on at one of the shows. Check the description and everything like that because there'll be links to Karen's tour of Scotland. And as you've probably just seen, I mentioned Strathpeffer a lot. I'm not going to go to that one because my mum's doing in Fife. And we'll go to one closer to her because she's 82, you know. Kick my arse for saying that. But anyway, thanks for watching. Please, if you don't mind, hit the button. Hit the wee bell, subscribe, and all that jazz, as they would say. And who's next? Who knows? But thank you very much. And let's try and get that 90% not subscribed down to about 50. I don't know how we're going to do that, but I can only ask you guys if we can do it, and we'll see how we get on. So, thank you very much. Karen Dunbar, thank you very much. And to you guys that are watching and listening, thank you as ever. It's not for everyone, but you will always find something. I'm pretty damn sure. Just leaves me to say adios, amigos, and thank you.